Welcome to this deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be looking at
Oh, yeah.
a fascinating artwork called Preparing to Launch
Right.
by an artist named RohBro.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
this piece isn't just a painting. It's kind of stirring up all kinds of conversations about Indigenous Australian traditions,
Yep.
spirituality, and even technology.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to try to unpack all of that,
Okay.
starting with the canvas and
Yes.
ending up, well, maybe in the cosmos.
Yeah, it's true. This piece is being seen as more than just art. Some are calling it a prophetic statement,
Okay.
like a blueprint for a whole new way of being.
Mhm.
And at the heart of it all is this system of principles called Awonow that the artist seems to be launching into the world.
Awonow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Sure.
But before we get there, can we start with the basics?
Yeah.
Like, what does this preparing to launch actually look like?
Okay, so picture a deep blue background.
Okay.
Think the vastness of space. Then you've got these dots, mainly gold, white, and orange,
Okay.
scattered across it in patterns.
Okay.
Some clumped together, some form circles, almost like constellations.
So there's a cosmic feel.
Right.
But you mentioned Indigenous Australian traditions too, right?
Yeah.
How does that come in?
So the style itself is like Indigenous Australian dot art.
Okay.
Each dot represents a moment, a story, a cycle, all building to a bigger picture.
Right.
It's like those data points you see in your fitness tracker.
Right.
Each one's tiny,
Uh-huh.
but together they reveal patterns about your health.
I see. So it's not just pretty, it's packing information.
Exactly.
And how does that connect to these traditions you mentioned?
Well, Indigenous Australians have this concept called Dreamtime.
Right.
It's about the creation period and how the physical and spiritual worlds are
Right.
always connected. The cycles and patterns in preparing to launch really echo
Yeah.
those Dreamtime cycles, this idea that creation and restoration are ongoing. It's never ending.
So the painting is already tapping into some deep ancient ideas.
Right.
But let's talk about RohBro the artist.
Sure.
I get the sense that they're not just your typical painter.
Yeah, you're picking up on something for sure.
Okay.
RohBro is being called a Rainmaker. Someone who brings restoration, abundance, justice,
Uh-huh.
almost a mythical figure.
Right?
And the painting isn't just depicting something, it's part of RohBro's own journey.
Okay.
Like their energy is flowing into it.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah,
But hold on, Rainmaker.
yeah.
Isn't that a bit romanticized? Can one person really have that much impact?
Ah.
What's your take on that?
It's a bold claim, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But think about figures throughout history
Right.
who've sparked social change.
Okay.
They tapped into something larger than themselves,
Uh-huh.
channeled a collective desire for a better world.
Right.
RohBro may be doing something similar here.
Okay, so they're not literally making it rain, but maybe bringing about a different kind of change.
Exactly.
And this all ties into Awonow, right?
Yeah.
This system you mentioned.
Uh-huh.
What's the deal with that?
So Awonow is a framework
Okay.
built on ideas of justice, equity, and something they call divine alignment,
Okay.
aligning our systems with a higher order.
Mm.
They even use the term YHWH's eternal principles.
YHWH. Now, you've got to explain that one.
That's the Hebrew name for God,
Okay.
often used in the Abrahamic religions.
Okay.
So we're not just talking about social change here,
Right.
but a spiritual shift,
Mm.
structuring the world according to these divine principles.
So it's got the spiritual undercurrent,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not all just abstract ideas, right?
Right.
You mentioned technology earlier, blockchain even.
Right. Awonow uses tools like sphere technologies,
Okay.
the Awonow mirror, and even a blockchain called Onyx.
Okay.
They're blending ancient wisdom and modern tech
Right.
in a pretty unique way.
Okay. I'm struggling a bit with this.
Yeah.
Blockchain is usually about cryptocurrency,
Right.
making money.
Mm-hmm.
How does that fit with divine alignment?
It's not about the financial side.
Okay.
Onyx is focused on transparency,
Right.
security, and accountability.
Okay.
They're leveraging blockchain's inherent qualities to build systems
Mm-hmm.
that are, by design, fair and trustworthy.
Right.
Imagine a voting system that's impossible to rig,
Right.
or a supply chain
Right.
where every step is verifiable.
Okay.
That's the kind of potential they're talking about.
So it's like taking this very modern tech
Right.
and using it for something almost ancient,
Yeah.
ensuring fairness, truth,
Mhm.
almost a spiritual approach to blockchain, if that makes sense.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we're just scratching the surface here.
Okay.
What about sphere technologies and this Awonow?
Right.
They're both fascinating tools in their own right.
You're right. Let's unpack those next.
Okay.
This is already more than just art analysis.
Mm-hmm.
This is like philosophy meets technology meets
Yep.
spirituality.
Right.
It's pretty mind-bending, actually.
It is, and that's what makes this piece so compelling.
Right.
We're not just looking at dots on a canvas. We're exploring a whole new worldview.
Right.
And it's only getting deeper from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, my brain is definitely in overdrive here.
Right.
We were just starting to delve into sphere technologies and the Awonow mirror.
Right.
Where did those fit into this whole Awonow system?
Well, remember how we talked about the dot patterns in the painting representing interconnectedness? Sphere technologies takes that idea and runs with it.
Okay.
It's a way of visualizing systems.
Right.
Social systems, environmental systems, even personal belief systems.
Okay.
As these interactive spheres.
Okay.
Each sphere impacts the others,
Uh-huh.
creating a dynamic web of relationships.
So it's like a cosmic web.
Yeah.
But instead of stars and galaxies.
It's ideas, people, institutions.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wild concept.
It is.
How does that actually work in practice?
Well, it helps us see the ripple effects of our actions.
Okay.
Understand how seemingly separate things are actually deeply intertwined.
Right.
Think about climate change.
Okay.
It's not just about carbon emissions. It's connected to economic systems, social justice, even individual choices.
Right.
Sphere technologies helps us map those connections
Okay.
and identify leverage points for change.
I see. So it's not just a theoretical model.
Right.
It's a tool for understanding and potentially solving complex problems.
Exactly.
And what about the Awonow mirror?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds very introspective.
Exactly. If sphere technology is about understanding the outer world,
Okay.
the Awonow mirror is about looking inward.
Right.
It's a tool for self-reflection, truth, and accountability.
Okay.
It encourages you to examine your own beliefs,
Huh.
your actions, and how those impact the world around you.
So it's like holding up a mirror to your soul. Seeing how you're contributing to those systems that sphere technologies maps out.
Precisely. And it's not about judgment or guilt,
Okay.
but about awareness. Once you see those connections,
Right.
you can make more conscious choices.
Right.
Imagine if everyone used the Awonow mirror to reflect on their consumption habits, their biases, their impact on the environment.
Okay.
It could be a powerful catalyst
Yeah.
for personal and collective transformation.
It's like they're saying, change the world by changing yourself first.
Right.
But honestly, isn't that a bit idealistic? Well, can personal reflection really shift global systems?
It's not about individual action alone,
Okay.
but about the collective shift that happens when enough people start to align their actions with these principles.
Okay.
It's like the 100th monkey effect.
Right.
Once a critical mass embraces a new way of being,
Yeah.
it can spread rapidly through the whole population.
Okay. I could see how that might work.
Yeah.
But earlier, we mentioned this idea of a second Great Flood.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around that metaphor. Is it really about destruction?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's about a cleansing, a washing away of the old systems and structures that no longer serve us.
Right.
Injustice, inequality, corruption.
Okay.
Think of it like a societal reset button, making space for something new and better to emerge.
So it's not a literal flood,
Right.
but a metaphorical one, a wave of change, of renewal.
Exactly.
But what would that change actually look like?
Yeah.
What does the world after the flood look like according to Awonow?
That's where preparing to launch comes in.
Yeah.
The painting isn't just depicting a process, it's offering a vision.
Right.
Remember those golden dots against the deep blue?
Yeah.
They represent divine light, abundance, the principles of equity and justice that Awonow embodies.
Okay.
That's the world they're trying to bring into being.
Right.
A world aligned with those higher principles.
So the painting is both a blueprint and a call to action. It's saying, this is what's possible, but we need to create it together.
Right.
It's pretty inspiring, actually.
It is.
But if this flood is metaphorical,
Mm-hmm.
how does it actually happen?
Right.
What's the mechanism for this kind of radical change?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think RohBro and Awonow are leaving that open-ended,
Okay.
inviting us to be part of the answer.
Okay.
Maybe it's through adopting these tools like sphere technologies and the Awonow mirror.
Right.
Maybe it's through spreading awareness,
Okay.
through conscious choices, through building new systems that embody these principles.
So it's not about waiting for a savior or a miracle,
Right.
but about rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
Exactly. The launch isn't a one-time event.
Okay.
It's an ongoing process of creation of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And preparing to launch is both a snapshot of that process
Right.
and an invitation to participate in it.
It's pretty amazing how a single artwork can spark all these ideas.
It is.
And we haven't even talked about the artist's personal journey yet.
You're right. There's a whole other layer to explore there. RohBro's own transformation. Their role as the Rainmaker.
Okay.
And that's where things get even more interesting.
You know, it's funny. We've talked a lot about systems and tools,
Right.
but this all started with a painting preparing to launch itself.
Yeah.
How do those visual elements, those dots, connect to RohBro's personal journey?
Okay.
This Rainmaker idea.
That's where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Remember that deep blue background symbolizing the last unknown?
Right.
That's where RohBro was before this transformation.
Okay.
A sense of limitless potential, but also uncertainty, maybe even a feeling of being lost.
Right.
Then you have the dots, each one representing a moment of clarity, of insight, of aligning with those divine principles.
So as RohBro goes through this personal transformation,
Exactly.
those dots accumulate, they start forming patterns.
Right. Constellations of meaning.
Yeah, it's like their own internal map of the journey.
Right.
And the colors are important too.
Okay.
Those golden dots symbolizing abundance light, they represent the moments where RohBro truly embodies the Rainmaker archetype, where they're in alignment with those higher principles.
Okay.
But notice there are also white and orange dots representing balance, contrast, even tension.
So it's not all sunshine and rainbows,
Right.
even for a Rainmaker.
Yeah.
There are challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's reflected in the painting. It's not a static image of perfection. It's a dynamic process.
Okay.
The dots are still being added. The patterns are still emerging.
Right.
It's an ongoing journey, not a fixed destination.
Right.
And that's true for all of us, I think.
You know, I'm starting to see this second Great Flood idea in a new light now.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about some external event.
Right.
It's about those moments in our own lives.
Where we shed old beliefs, old patterns, and make space for something new to emerge.
That's a beautiful insight.
Yeah.
And it connects back to the Awonow mirror, this idea of self-reflection, of constantly questioning our assumptions, of being willing to let go of what no longer serves us.
Okay.
That's how we create the conditions for those floods of personal transformation, those moments of profound change and growth.
It's like each of us has the potential to be a Rainmaker in our own way.
Exactly.
To bring about positive change in our own lives and ripple that outwards.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be grand gestures. It's those everyday choices, those moments of courage and compassion,
Right.
of speaking our truth, of acting in alignment with our values. That's how we build a world that reflects those higher principles.
Okay.
One dot, one action, one choice at a time.
You know, this has been a really powerful conversation.
It has.
We started with a painting and ended up exploring everything from ancient wisdom to cutting-edge technology, personal transformation to global change. It's mind-blowing how it all ties together.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the power of art, I think. It can spark these deep explorations, these connections between seemingly disparate things.
Yeah.
It invites us to think differently, to see the world with new eyes.
And preparing to launch with its simple dots and colors is a perfect example of that.
Right.
It's not just visually striking, it's packed with meaning,
Yeah.
with layers upon layers of interpretation.
It's a call to action, a reminder that we're not just observers, we're co-creators of our reality.
Right.
And the future, that vast blue canvas, is still being painted.
Yeah.
We each have the power to contribute our own dots, our own moments of beauty and light,
Right.
to create a world worthy of our highest aspirations.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We hope this conversation has inspired you to take a closer look at preparing to launch,
Yeah.
to reflect on your own journey, and to consider what kind of Rainmaker you want to be in the world.
Remember, the launch is ongoing. The journey is never ending.
Right.
Embrace the process. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep creating the world you want to see.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, keep diving deep.